Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time to brawl. Today we've got a special video for you. We've got some Brawl Stars update stuff to feature on the channel. So this is going to be really exciting. We got balance changes, we got gameplay changes, and then of course at the end of this video I'm going to tell you all about what I think, whether it's good, bad, and also what I think is possibly coming in the future. Hope you enjoy the video. Now before we actually jump into these balance changes, I gotta answer the question, guys. Is Brawl Stars dying? I know a lot of you people have been saying that Brawl Stars is dying. I even wrote like an 8-page dissertation on why Supercell could still kill Brawl Stars. Now I don't know if it is actually dying. I don't know the actual numbers on play rates or things like that. But I do know one thing. It definitely feels like Brawl Stars is dying. It kind of feels like somebody shot it. Like right in the heart. It doesn't feel like it's dead, but it feels like it's really close to it, right? Now, let's actually use that analogy, right? Okay, Brawl Stars got shot through the heart. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. Now, I don't know a whole lot about what it means to be a surgeon or to repair a shot heart, but I do know that if you're still alive and you just got shot through the heart and you're just bleeding out, that's not a good thing. I know that that's not a good thing. And I do know enough about anatomy to know that you don't just like stand here being like, hey, I'm gonna be okay. No, the first thing that you need to do is you gotta put a bandage on there. You gotta like apply pressure and put a bandage on there until you can get to the hospital where they can actually fix the real issue. That's kind of what this update feels like. It feels like a bandage to temporarily fix something that needs to be fixed. And I think that that's what Supercell is basically doing with this update. They're just like, damage control, what's going on here? We gotta fix some stuff. I mean, as it is, I'll definitely take that bandage. I'll take that band-aid that we need to stop the bleeding from killing Brawl Stars until Supercell can actually go and perform surgery on it to actually fix the core issues. Now with that analogy said, let's go ahead and actually talk about these changes here. The camera is a bit further out, giving a little bit more visibility. So they zoomed out even further, and overall this gives us about a 2-tile increase in vision longitudinally. Overall, this is going to be better for longer range brawlers. It feels a lot better too. Like my vision doesn't feel so limited, and that means that for those long range brawlers, I'm going to see a little bit more of their shots and things like that. I like that. Now, this would actually slow down gameplay, and I know that a lot of people don't like the slowed down gameplay. To rectify this, they're actually going to make all brawler and pet movement speeds increase by about 9%. This makes up for that slow feeling of being zoomed out, and my first reaction to this was, whoa! This is fun. Seriously, it's a blast. I played a ton and it's so much fun. I tried switching back and forth between the old build and the new build, and I kept being like, oh my gosh, brawlers are moving so slow on the old build, and then jumping on and being like, oh, this feels better. I feel like I can breathe again. It's so much. It's way fun. Definitely makes the game more fun, and I'm excited for you guys to try it out. In addition to this, they're going to be increasing the movement speed of all projectiles by about 9% as well. This is actually kind of interesting. It actually is going to lead to less reaction time to respond to shots, which is a little bit better for long-range brawlers, and is kind of fun. Now to make up for that, all in-game brawler models are actually going to be scaled up a little bit, meaning they're a little bit bigger. It actually looks a little bit odd when you first start playing with it, but I think that it's a good thing since we're zooming out now. I'd rather really not be squinting at the screen to know where my brawler is. Now I'm fairly certain that the brawler hit box size actually increased as well, which means that it's going to be easier for you to hit your brawlers. That's not 100% confirmed, but it does make sense, and I think that it's true. Now let's actually jump into specific brawlers, okay? So the first change is Dynamite and Barley are getting an even bigger boost to projectile movement speed to about 14% rather than the default just 9%. This feels much better for Dynamite and Barley, who were really struggling in the meta, guys. This feels so much better. The damage radius is still going to stay the same, and since brawlers are bigger, which helps, but brawlers also move faster, which hurts these throwers, overall, Barley and Dynamite just feel better than before, but only feel average when compared to other brawlers. They're still really awkward to use, and auto aim really does not help them very much in most situations, which is why I think that they're just like, yeah, they're okay. They're average. In addition, Bo's mine explosion delay is actually being reduced from 1.3 seconds to 1.15 seconds. This is needed because everyone moves a little bit faster now, and if that wasn't changed, then they would be able to escape them easier. So overall, Bo doesn't look like he's changed. He's just kind of feels average. Mortis kind of lost his speed advantage because everybody's speed increased, and so they're actually increasing his dash range from 2.33 tiles to 2.67 tiles. And honestly, I still think that Mortis he feels a little bit weaker than normal, just simply because he really struggles to people having perfect targeting with that auto aim right there. So a little bit weaker. I still think he could use a little bit of a buff. They're also increasing Colt's star power from 50 to 60, and that makes him the second fastest brawler right after Crow, and a little bit faster than the tanks and the Mortis. Bull and Shelly are both receiving a main attack damage nerf. Bull's going from 440 damage down to 400, and Shelly is going from 320 down to 300. This was definitely needed because they were basically strangling the meta. Yeah, you know that wound that was bleeding out? Like, Shelly and Bull, they were the result of that. I'm actually really happy about these changes because they feel a lot better. I still think they're going to be usable, and I don't think that they're going to be nearly as abusable with the auto aim as they were in the past. Now let's go ahead and talk about long range brawlers, okay? So Colt, Ricochet, Jesse, Crow, Brock, Piper, Tara, and Spike, all of those brawlers are getting an increased size for their projectiles. So think about how wide Colt's old projectile size was and how wide Nita's old projectile size was. It's about the average of there. So all of these are kind of like around in the middle. This makes the controls feel so much better. Aiming with the joystick is so much easier. It's far better. You don't have to be nearly as precise, and it's just better. It's just better to aim. In addition, it's also much easier for you to hit brawlers with auto aim because the projectiles are faster as well. And I'm really not a fan of this, but these brawlers really did need that band-aid fix. So I guess I'm okay with it until Supercell can give us the surgery fix that we really need. Overall, I think that Colt is slightly better than average. I think that Jesse is about average. Crow feels slightly better than average. Spike feels average, and Tara feels average when compared to all the other brawlers. Now, Brock, Piper, and Ricochet actually had some additional changes made to them. Their main attack range for all three of them is actually going to be reduced. The whole purpose of this is making it so that they actually fit a little bit more for horizontal gameplay, for landscape, right? This means that less of your shots are going to be going past that line of what you can see on your device. Now, this is actually a nerf to Brock, a nerf to Ricochet, and kind of a buff to Piper, actually, which we'll get into. First of all, this is a nerf to Brock, and so to try and help rectify that, they actually increased the main attack damage for Brock to be at 1040 up to 1100. Overall, I feel like this makes Brock feel a little bit better than average when compared to all brawlers. Now, I mentioned that this was a nerf to Rico in order to help make Rico a little bit more viable. Each time Ricochet's bullets bounce, they're actually going to travel further, about 2 tiles further for each time that they bounce, with a maximum of about 6 bounces. This is kind of a really unique way to balance Rico, and actually makes aiming with Rico a lot more critical, which overall I think that Rico just kind of feels a little bit more average because it does take a little bit more skill to try and actually aim in order to utilize that function. Now, how does this decreased range actually buff Piper? Well, now she's actually going to be doing maximum damage when she's closer to her targets. In addition to this, she's actually getting a buff in her main attack damage from 1480 up to 1560 damage at maximum damage, which is closer to brawlers, right? So this basically means that people are going to have less time to be able to react to dodge her shots, with that maximum damage being closer to them. Because the time for Piper's shot to go from where she's at to the maximum point of her damage is not very much. This means she's going to be hitting harder, and it means that she's going to be hitting sooner. And to be completely honest, with auto aim, she feels ridiculously OP. If the enemy team has a Piper, you have to be aware of them at all times. If she's spamming auto aim, you got to be ready to immediately change direction so that you're walking perpendicular to her shots so that she doesn't actually hit you. So fast reaction times are a must. Okay guys, now let's shake it all off. Now let's talk about how I feel. We're gonna start with the things that I like. Then we're going to move on to the things that I don't like. And then we're going to talk about, I don't know what this is. Then we're going to talk about what I think is coming into Brawl Stars. First of all, what I like, I really like that Supercell quickly put out an update to try and repair this broken meta, right? 2 weeks since the update, like that's pretty fast turnaround for Supercell, who has really small teams. That's really good. It's really nice to see that they're working hard, and I really appreciate their efforts. Also, I really like the faster gameplay. It feels so much fun, and it feels like the fun that Brawl Stars was in portrait mode, where you always felt like something was happening, right? You're always moving and stuff like that. It feels like that again, and I love that. Also, I really appreciate that those short-range brawlers don't feel like they're killing the meta right now. They feel way more balanced, and overall I think the meta is going to be a lot more dynamic than it was. I also really like that for most of the brawlers it's a lot easier to aim now because their shots are actually wider. I like that the projectiles are faster because I feel like it encourages a faster reaction times, which is going to actually increase the skill cap to the game, because the people that are slow to react are going to get hit, and the people that are fast to react are going to get hit less. Now, let's talk about what I dislike. What I really wanted was for Supercell to take auto-aim out of the game. And what they did is they just made it better for more brawlers. Seriously, medium-range brawlers and long-range brawlers now can use and abuse auto-aim. And I get it. I get why Supercell did this, right? We were suffering from an oppressive meta from certain brawlers that were able to abuse the auto-aim function, where other brawlers couldn't abuse it, and so they were really struggling. So there are basically two solutions to this. The first solution would be to just remove auto-aim, and the second solution would be to make it so that every brawler can abuse auto-aim. And the first solution would require a big, massive update that I know Supercell is going to need time to try and do. And the second solution is really fast and easy to do to try and fix the current issue. So I still really don't like auto-aim, and I really don't want it to be in the game, but I am glad that the meta is going to be a little bit more balanced, even if it means more brawlers being able to abuse a system that I don't like. But that's still really not what I want. I wouldn't go as far as some people to say that it's a completely skill-less game, because there's still a ton of skill involved as far as like dodging, just knowing positioning and how that works out. But the skill cap definitely has decreased. Now that I've got that out of my system, let's go ahead and talk about what I think is actually coming. Earlier, at the very beginning of this video, I compared this update as a band-aid fix, right? To try and fix the meta, make the game have a little bit more of a fun feel to it. I think that this is going, with the exception of like Piper, I think Piper is just going to be way too annoying to deal with. But with the exception of Piper, I think this is going to make the game feel a lot more stable, and that's what we need in order to give Supercell some time so they can actually focus on improving the core game, which we all know needs some improving. Now, the community has given Supercell tons of feedback, and I am so thankful that you guys are doing this, because we need Supercell to listen, and I know that they are listening. I don't know that they're going to do what I necessarily want to fix and make things better, but I know that they are working on the best solution. My hope is that they're going to be able to have some time to actually focus on an update soonish, hopefully, that will make Brawl Stars as amazing as possible and bring it one step closer to global. And that's what I think is coming, guys. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. As you know, I read every single comment on my channel, and so I would encourage you to please put your feedback on the channel. Let me know if you like this, let me know if you don't like it, and I might not be able to respond to every message, but I'll try to respond to as many as I can. For now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in the arena.